Welcome back. Sandoz Barbados is denying there was any breach of COVID-19 protocols on its Christchurch property and says no guests are involved in related matters with the police. Management also expressed surprise at learning that the hotel was removed from the list of government-approved quarantine facilities while still in conversation with relevant authorities. In a statement, Sandoz stated, quote, "We have always worked closely with the Ministry of Health and CMO to ensure that we are in alignment with the national requirements. It is therefore surprising to note that while there are assigned Ministry of Health officials on our resort daily, at no time was any perceived breach brought to our attention until we received a letter from the CMO to which we have responded in writing, refuting the assertions and requesting a further review and follow-up meeting. We were amazed, therefore, that as this conversation was ongoing, we had to read in the press that the Minister of Health issued a statement speaking to delisting Sandoz Barbados as a designated quarantine hotel." End quote. That was a statement from Sandoz Barbados. In other news, St. Lucia's Chief Education Officer, Dr. Fiona Philip-Meyer, hedged the concerns of parents who are apprehensive about sending their young ones back to school come the 11th of January, and she says she understands the clear concerns. However, she is assuring parents that all measures have been put in place to ensure the safety of their children.
Should you have any issues, we really encourage you to speak to the principals, speak to the teachers. Let us find a way to identify what is the best way forward for our children. And more so, I want to say to our parents, listen to the children. Allow them to speak to you at bedtime when they're about to go to sleep. Read a story to them. Ask them how they feel about being out of school. Ask them how they feel when they're at school, so that any bits of anxiety that they may have, we can deal with them. We have our professionals in terms of our psychosocial support team, our counselors are there, but we need our parents to work alongside us to really support the initiative. And in closing, I cannot reiterate enough that we continue to be reflective upon practice, and we will deal with situations as the need arises.
Dr. Philip-Meyer says the pandemic has sent the lives of parents from all walks of life into a complete tailspin. However, the main aim is to restore order and normalcy to the lives of all affected.
Other parents cannot wait to have their children come back to school. Other parents recognize that the children have been indoors and that has created issues within the household. We also have some of our parents who are educators themselves, balancing teaching their children and doing everything else for the students. We have parents who are at work and they don't have childcare, and sometimes they have to find alternative ways of supporting their children, putting their children in childcare, and that creates particular issues as well, where the standards in terms of all of the hygiene that may have been in a formal structure like a school does not exist. So it is really to say, parents, we continue to work with you.
The Chief Education Officer says she is hoping that good sense will prevail for the sake of the children and their futures. Now, the president of the National Principals Association says 2020 has been a year of difficulty for the education sector. She says educators are looking forward to moving on, and come 2021, she says the sector has a lot of catching up to do.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, teachers and students had to adapt to the online learning modality of academic instruction. As she reflects on the year that has been, the president of the National Principals Association, Valerie St. Helen Henry, says there were certainly obstacles that challenged educators.
There were some disappointments. We were able to more or less find other ways to reach our students, despite the challenges. The downside of it was the timeliness of students and receiving devices. The principals and their staff were able to be flexible enough to use other forms of reaching the students, like coming to the school, providing them with packages to continue the instructions. But all in all, there were various methods used, but each of them would have their downside.
She says while they are looking forward to 2021, she is aware that it will be fraught with challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, she says teachers are ready to work through the issues.
They will be coming back with a lot of baggage that we, as educators, as counselors, as mothers, as doctors, nurses, whatever, we have to deal with them. And these are some of the things that we need to put as top priority, because they say an empty bag cannot stand. We need to renew them. We need to get them back on track.
St. Helen Henry says, moving into the new academic term, she has every intention of ensuring that students who were disadvantaged and who had the roughest times coping with the virus are attended to with haste.
For me, and I'm sure for most principals, these are students that will be on our top list to bring them back, to get them to be able to know that they missed out, yes, but we are going to be there for them to bring them back to where we want them to be or where they should be. Notwithstanding that, we are not going to just dive into instruction and the academic, but I think our students are going to be coming back to us with a lot of experiences.
Schools are slated to reopen on January 11th, 2021. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
The Cop Who Cares, Siobhan Matthew, has put out his last compilation of safety tips for the public for the year 2020. Matthew says the tips should be of great use to older folks.
Crime is a frightening problem, especially for older, vulnerable individuals. The self-dubbed Cop Who Cares Sergeant of Police Siobhan Matthew has issued a personal safety PSA. He says the focus this time is on older adults. However, the tips can be used by just about anyone. He issued a few tips that should be considered when at home.
At home, keep doors locked. Install easy-to-use deadbolts. Don't attach an ID tag to your keyring. Install new locks if you move to a new home or lose your key. Secure your windows. Draw the curtains and blinds at night. Don't leave your windows open at night. Install and use a peephole. Never open the door to strangers or let them know you are home alone. Ask service people for an ID before you open the door. If you did not request service, call the agency. Look phone number up in the phone book and verify the call for service. Remember, chain locks can be easily forced open. Consider a pet. Even a small dog can provide some protection besides the companionship.
Matthew says it is imperative that community members band together. That way, they can organize watch groups. He also advised that individuals be on their guard when in the public domain.
When you're out in the street, always be alert of your surroundings and the people around you. Avoid walking alone at night. While waiting for a bus, avoid isolated bus stops. Stand away from the curb until the bus arrives. Do not open your purse or wallet while boarding a bus. Have your pass or money already in your hand. In your personal vehicle, always lock your doors when you get into the car. Keep your passenger window rolled up. Keep your purse on the floor next to you, not on the passenger seat.
But in the event that one falls victim to any type of criminal activity, what should they do?
If your home is burglarized while you're out, do not go in if you suspect someone is still inside of your home. Call your local law enforcement agency from your neighbor's home, or if you have a cell phone, use the cell phone to call the police. Don't touch anything. Once you do enter your home, you may destroy potential evidence. If someone breaks into your home whilst you're there, do not confront the burglar. Lock the door to the room that you're in, or lock yourself inside the bathroom if you are unable to leave the house. If you have a phone, call the police or call someone immediately. Report any crime, attempted crime, or any suspicious activity to the police. Give details including height, weight, clothing, appearance, license plate number of any suspicious vehicle in your area, and information about any possible witnesses. Press charges if the criminal is caught. This helps protect others.
Matthew has asked the public to be mindful and remember that it is not necessary physical strength, agility, speed, or expensive security devices that fin attackers, but rather alertness, cautiousness, and self-confidence. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Thank you, Genevieve. An aerial reconnaissance conducted on Wednesday indicated that there are no significant changes at the La Soufrière volcano since the previous day, when an effusive eruption was noted at the 4,048-foot mountain. The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, said magma continues to ooze to the surface and the new dome has increased in size. The Executive Committee of NEMO, which comprises technical officers from the various government departments, private sector, and non-governmental organizations, met Wednesday at NEMO's conference room to activate plans in the event that the level of seismic activity increases and evacuation becomes necessary. The Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, has activated the Regional Coordination Plan as per the protocol, which corresponds to the orange volcano hazard alert level, to which the alert was raised after Tuesday's eruption. Orange is the third highest on the 4-level scale, with red being the highest. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We'll be right back.